Hello everyone and welcome back to Terrifying Tales. I know many of you love to unwind with these chilling stories before you fall asleep. But tonight, I want to warn you. What you're about to hear might just keep you up a little longer than you'd like. So before you drift into the dark, tell me, where are you listening from tonight? I'd love to know. Are you safe in the comfort of your home? Or maybe out in the quiet, eerie woods? Leave a comment below and share your location with me. And if you're enjoying these stories that send a chill down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss the next tale, or the one after that. Trust me. Story 1. A camping encounter in the woods. Jake and I thought a camping trip deep in the Colorado woods would be the perfect escape. No distractions, no noise, just nature. But by the second night, we realized we weren't alone. It started with a soft, almost melodic humming, too steady and human to be the wind. Jake's voice trembled as he whispered, "You think someone's out here?" And then came the footsteps. Slow, deliberate, crunching the leaves just outside our campfire's glow. I tried to calm myself, but a sense of dread was already settling in my gut. When a stick was thrown into the center of our campsite, we knew it wasn't an animal. Panic crept in as we retreated to our tents, hearts pounding. Hours of suffocating silence passed before a shadow loomed outside my tent. I froze as a figure, its outline barely visible in the moonlight, crouched down inches from me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. After what felt like eternity, it was gone. But the terror lingered. "Jake, did you see that?" His shaky voice confirmed my worst fear. Something was out there with us. The rest of the night, every creak and rustle sent us into full alert. When dawn finally broke, we packed up in silence, not daring to speak as the forest seemed to watch us leave. Even now, the memory haunts me. Sometimes when I'm alone, I think I hear that humming again, and I wonder, what would have happened if we hadn't made it to morning? I work the night shift as a rideshare driver, and most nights are uneventful. Just quiet drives through empty streets, dealing with drunk passengers and late-night airport runs. But last Friday was different. Around 2 a.m., I got a request for a pickup in a remote part of town, a dead-end road surrounded by woods. The profile didn't have a picture, just a name. Daniel. Something felt off, but the fare was higher than usual, so I accepted. When I arrived, the street was eerily silent. No cars, no houses, just a flickering street lamp. I saw a man emerge from the trees, walking slowly toward the car. He was tall, wearing a dark hoodie that hid his face, and moved with an unnatural gliding. I called out Daniel. He nodded but didn't speak, just got in the back seat without a word. I asked where to, and he handed me a slip of paper with an address, but no name. As I drove, I felt something was wrong. I glanced at him in the rearview mirror, his face still obscured. Then my phone buzzed. It was another ride request from Daniel. I froze. The name, the location, they were the same as the request I had just accepted. My heart pounded as I asked, "Did you request another ride?" His answer was chilling, "No." But then I saw it. The address on the app wasn't the one on the paper. It was my own home address. My stomach dropped. I slammed on the brakes, pulled over, and told him to get out. But when I turned around, the back seat was empty. He was gone, and the door had never opened. I sat there, trying to process what had just happened, when my phone buzzed again. Another notification: "Your passenger has canceled the trip." My hands were shaking as I drove home, constantly checking the mirrors. When I finally made it inside and locked all the doors, I thought I was safe. But then I froze. On my bed was the slip of paper, the same one the man had given me. I picked it up with trembling hands, and beneath the address were 3 words written in messy handwriting. "See you." Julia, a young journalist, receives a mysterious email that invites her to the long-abandoned mill in Everwood at midnight, claiming she needs to hear something before it's too late. Intrigued by the town's eerie history and whispers of strange occurrences, she ventures out to investigate, finding the mill cold and silent, except for a chilling message on the wall. "They're watching." As she explores further, She hears a faint whisper calling her name, and the air grows thick with an overwhelming presence. A strange symbol on the floor catches her eye, a pattern she recognizes from the town's dark history. Suddenly, the floor trembles and a ghostly woman emerges from beneath, begging for help before disappearing. The mill shakes violently, and the air is filled with maddened screams as Julia is trapped inside, the very walls closing in around her. She finds a mirror, only to see her own reflection smiling back at her with a twisted, mocking grin. Terrified, she tries to escape, but the doorway vanishes and the reflection reaches out, pulling her into the glass, her last words echoing in the darkness as the mill falls silent once again. Until the next curious soul arrives. Story 4. It was a stormy night when Sarah, an ambitious paranormal investigator, arrived at Blackwood House, a sprawling mansion long abandoned and rumored to be cursed. The locals spoke of strange lights, eerie sounds, and people who'd ventured inside, never to return. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah set up her equipment and entered the dark, creaking house alone. As soon as she stepped inside, a chilling draft swept through the hallway and her flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. She began her investigation, moving deeper into the house when she discovered a strange, old book in the library, its pages filled with cryptic symbols. As she flipped through it, she found a page dedicated to a ritual, one that claimed to communicate with spirits trapped within the house. It promised to reveal the deepest secrets of the dead, but warned of a deadly price. Intrigued, Sarah decided to perform the ritual, lighting the candles around her and chanting the incantation. Almost immediately, the temperature dropped and a ghostly figure appeared in the doorway. A woman, pale and draped in tattered clothes. She whispered, "You shouldn't have done this," and vanished before Sarah could react. Sarah, heart pounding, tried to collect herself, but the house seemed to come alive. Footsteps echoed down the hallway, but when Sarah investigated, no one was there. She returned to the library, where she found the book had opened to a new page. This time, it described a ritual for summoning the master of the house. Curious and increasingly desperate to understand, Sarah performed the ritual. The lights flickered violently, and the ground trembled. The air grew thick with dread as the master appeared, a tall, imposing figure with hollow eyes and a smile that chilled her to the bone. "You've awoken me," he said, his voice like a low growl, "and now you belong to me." Sarah tried to flee, but the house seemed to shift, its walls closing in on her, trapping her in a maze of endless rooms. As she ran, she caught glimpses of other figures, lost souls, their eyes empty, their faces frozen in terror. In a panic, Sarah rushed back to the library, determined to reverse the ritual. But when she opened the book, a horrifying truth emerged. The ritual could only be undone if the person who summoned the master willingly sacrificed themselves to him. Suddenly, Sarah's own reflection appeared in the book, but not as she was now. Her reflection was already dead, her eyes vacant, her body lifeless. The master's voice echoed again, closer this time. "You can never leave, Sarah." The house around her twisted, and Sarah realized in that moment that she had never been alone. The souls trapped in Blackwood House had been waiting for someone like her, someone foolish enough to perform the rituals. The very house had been feeding on her energy, drawing her in with each step. As her vision blurred, the last thing Sarah saw was the face of the woman from earlier, now standing in the corner, a grin spreading across her face. "Welcome to the family," she whispered, before Sarah's body collapsed, joining the others as one of the many souls trapped forever in the house. The next morning, the storm passed, and the house stood quiet again, but somewhere, deep within the walls, a new voice joined the endless whispers that had always haunted Blackwood House.